Call the meeting to order at 7:04. Crystal, could you read the roll, please?
Councilman Goldie?
Here.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Here.
Councilman Gray?
Here.
Councilwoman Mora? Here. Supervisor Esposito?
Present. Also present is our town attorney, Gerard, please. Could we all stand for the invocation? And Nancy?
Father God, we come before you tonight asking for your wisdom, knowledge, and discernment for those representing us to know your will for Princetown. We ask you peace and unity that only you can give. Thank you for working your will in our town. Bless those who represent us and their families. We pray as your word says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. We declare this for our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing for the pledge. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Privilege of the floor. At every special town board meeting, the public will have the right to address the town board during the portion of the meeting referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public shall restrict their comments relating to town business. Although there is no official time constraint, speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested parties, listed members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There shall be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privilege of the floor nearing the beginning of each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into discussion with a person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the course of the meeting referred to as council members' comments. We'll open up privilege of the floor at 7:06.
I'm Greer Pomeroy, the outgoing chair of the Environmental Advisory Committee, and I'm standing one more time to petition the town board to approve the natural resources inventory, which fulfills one of the documents that was stated in the Princetown local law number 1 of 1975. And I have good news. The Red Cross blood drive that was done here in November, they did get 11 pints of blood, and that's not as much as we would have hoped for, but we're happy that we got that much, and they seem to be happy with it.
Thank you, Gary. Any others?
John Fisher, Measelbeck Road in Pattersonville. I'm here today to talk a little bit about the ongoing issue that we've discussed at several of the board meetings lately regarding solar farms and the batteries that are used to store electrical energy. This is quite a divided community on this subject. Many people feel that they don't want them in their backyard. But as a greater community, it's been recognized that global warming is a real thing. We need to cut back on carbon dioxide emissions, and solar farms are one way that this can happen. At this point, the science is overwhelming, and arguing against it is pretty much silly and moot at this point. We've had several devastating conditions that have been brought about by this in the last few years. Many of us were around for Hurricane Irene when it caused a lot of flooding along the Mohawk River and other areas. Last summer we had the enjoyment of Canadian wildfire smoke that severely impacted many people in this area, and many of the farmers and gardeners in our area will have come to recognize that their growing season is changing. And another thing is this global warming is causing migration to happen of people, animals, and lots of other things. There's a need for cleaner energy sources. and solar panels are part of that. Battery storage is also part of it because, as you know, solar panels aren't very effective after sunset or before sunrise. I mentioned the word NIMBY because a lot of the objections are from people who don't believe that they want solar panels in their backyard. But there are some real downsides to having solar panels around that I think many of us recognize. It certainly impacts the view from your property if you're living nearby. Traffic and road conditions can deteriorate when solar panels are being installed and operated. There's hazards that are brought about by having them in your community. I think we discussed last meeting some concerns about from the local fire departments about battery fires and other hazards related to that. There's a need for some policing that happen when you have solar farms that are just sitting out there with, after they're installed, they're pretty low maintenance, so there's not a lot of people from the solar industry going in and going out. And finally, when they do finally reach the end of their life, there's a need to clean up the mess and get back to what we want to do with that property later on. We've talked a little bit at some of these board meetings about different solutions to some of these problems. I mentioned several years ago at one of our meetings the possibility that the board could pursue power rate discounts for neighbors. The board did not seem amenable to this suggestion, had some objections, but here's perhaps another one that the board might consider. One thing that is controlled by the board and the town government is the property valuations for people living adjacent or near solar farms. And I think I'd like to hear the board address whether it's possible that tax values can be brought down for people who are living next to or in sight of or nearby to solar farms. There's another part of this that I thought would be worth addressing, and it has to do with land use. Many years ago when we did our last town valuation, one of the comments from the board was that the biggest land use owner in the community were power lines. And as many of you have noticed, there are power lines that crisscross this township from north to south, and some of them are quite large and obtrusive, not only to have in your backyard, but to look at as you drive by. It seems to me that before we take valuable farmland and turn it into power lines, the land under these power lines, before we take valuable farmland and turn it into solar farms, we ought to investigate the use of the land under these power lines as a site for solar panels. And I believe this is something the board could address if they chose to. As far as the safety concerns, many of you know that in the past few years, if you build a new fueling station for cars and trucks, you have to put in fire suppression. And something like that could be mandated for any place that's putting in battery storage, and I would like to see that. And finally, traffic safety regulations. I don't know how many of you live close enough to the new solar farm on 160 that drive by it on a regular basis, but the road is a mess. It's covered with mud. There's already been one small accident there. I don't know the exact severity of it, but perhaps you do. And I think that's something that could be addressed by the board in the town rules. And finally, I just would like to remind all of us here of one of our patriots during the Revolutionary War made a comment in his last speech before he was snuffed by the crown, and that is, united we stand and divided we fall. Many people in this township have different views, whether they're for solar or against it, or they don't want it next to them or in their site. But as a group, we have to come to a united decision and stand firm with it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any others?
Tap to change reader mode.
Hello, my name is Patty Novowitz. I live at 457 Sanborn Road, Pattersonville. Building off of what Mr. Fisher said, it sounded like that there's different room for improvement and different code that could be implemented. So it sounds like a support for the solar moratorium, not saying that we're not going to have solar, just saying we're going to hold for a moment and reconsider the current solar law. It prohibits people that maybe would have property that could have really well-sited solar out of vision, but they're excluded because of the property size. The board, part of the responsibility of the board is to respect and carry out the will of the people. And it sounds like a lot of people have voiced support for solar moratorium. I've heard that there's some worry about the I have 42 Princetown signatures, which you folks have on record. So there's, some of the people are here in the room, but there's 42 people that support a solar moratorium. I know it's been said at some of these meetings that, you know, you can't fight the state, it's going to happen anyway, but projects that are smaller than 20 megawatts will fall under the town, under seeker, and, you know, based on the problems at 160, it probably wouldn't hurt to pause for 6 months and look at the laws. And projects that are bigger, 20 to 25 megawatts, can go through the state. And they would probably do 94C, which under 94C is new since Princetown Solar Code was written. Under 94C, the solar company needs to consider the local law, and if they disagree with something on the local law, then they have to go to the state and say why it's burdensome and why they would like to overlook that part of the local law. So I urge you to pump the brakes, do a 6-month moratorium. I'm from Rotterdam, as you all well know, and we've been working on this for over a year. And again, I would like to extend any help or information that we have if you folks choose to do a solar moratorium. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, before you go, do you want your comments put in the public hearing on the moratorium?
Excuse
Do
me?
you want those comments to put in the public hearing? Because there's going to be a public hearing on the moratorium. Do
Sure.
you want those comments? Okay. So I would just recommend anybody who wants their comments in the public hearing on it to wait till we get to the public hearing on the moratorium. Because I think you probably want your comments in that part of the record.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Any others?
I am also going to speak on behalf of the moratorium on the solar project. So should I wait for the public hearing, or?
Well, I mean, it's up to you, but I would recommend you wait so your comments are in that part of the
Okay.
minutes after the actual public hearing.
All right, I'll wait.
Can I move these other comments in the minutes to that?
You can make a motion to move.
Any others? No others? Okay. We'll close up the public hearing at the privilege of the floor at 7:20. this is Nicole's last meeting. She's been on the town board for quite a while now. Remember when we first started campaigning together, the first time, and we went around visiting most of the people in the town. She's done an excellent job. She's also our secretary of the planning board. She's not going away. She's still going to be secretary on the planning board, and hopefully next year, maybe she'll be involved more with the town as time goes on. So I'd like to thank you, Nicole, for all your service to the town. Okay. Highway. Nick, you're up.
Nothing.
Nothing going on?
Roads are still there.
Okay.
No crisis this month.
Water. Let's see, November, gallons pumped, 1,902,200, maximum daily use, 110,400, minimum daily use, 36,600, daily average, 61,400. We had the following water main breaks, leaks, again. While doing routine inspection, I found that the Settles Hill chlorine circulator line was leaking and the circulator pump was not working. Parts were purchased, circulator line was repaired, and circulator pump was replaced that day. This was work done, all generators were serviced. The generator room at the well house will be painted in December, it's already done. 3/4 of the town's water valves have been marked and staked. All hydrant flushing is completed. All hydrants were flushed, inspected, and documented on their condition. General maintenance performed. Respectfully submitted. Rick Ford. Any questions for Rick? No. Ben? Jim? Okay. Let's see. Building inspectors report. Total permits 4, permits issued 4, permit inspection fees collected $1,114, building inspections 11, zoning review 2, fire inspections 2, final building inspections 1, certificate of occupancy 0, bank deposit 0, check to supervisor $9,000, checkbook balance as of December 12th, 2023, $316.24. Activities in zoning 2, working on planning and zoning as needed, working on permit final inspection as needed, reviewing plans as needed. Thomas Barini, building inspector. Any questions, Don? Yeah. Okay. We got anything from the judge?
We do not, nothing from the judge, nothing from the assessor.
Okay, buildings and grounds, everything has been going good so far. Heating system's been repaired, everything's up and running. There's nothing new coming down the pike. Let's hope everything continues as quiet as they are. It's been a tough year as far as keeping up with the air conditioning units, the new units being replaced, and all the problems we had with it. Everything seems to be working well with it. Next year, we're gonna have to work on the parking lot again. The entranceway coming in is gonna have to be replaced. The state police, if we continue with that building, there's gonna have to be a new parking lot put in. The estimates the last time was $92,000. I don't know where we would get the money to replace the whole parking lot, but that was a few years back. Other than that, everything else is fine. Any questions? Ben? No? Jim?
No.
Okay.
I'm
Paul?
good, thank you.
You're good?
We got Ben with the dog.
Oh, yeah, we missed Ben. The dog.
Oh, go ahead, miss me.
going
It's
on, Ben?
been slow. There was only one call for a woman whose 2 dogs were loose. One of them returned, and the other's been missing. It's going on a couple of weeks now. They're out at Dwaynesburg, but they just want me to keep an eye out if we hear anything in Princetown about it. Try to get the dog back to the owner. Other than that, it's been quiet.
Okay. Any questions for Ben? Ben? Jim?
Those are both German Shepherds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got a call at the town hall too, I didn't know any information about. what they were looking, they said they were looking for dogs, they found a black dog. with a
Small
nose.
black German Shepherd.
Had the details of those dogs.
Was that recently, like the last day or two?
Yesterday, somebody
Did
called
you
and
hear?
said they saw a stray, so.
Did you hear anything about it?
Somebody called, but it was the wrong dog.
It was a small
Dog,
German?
it was
Okay.
yeah, it's an all black German Shepherd.
But the one that's missing is all black?
Yes.
Anything else for Ben? Paul? Doug? Okay, thank you, Ben.
Okay.
Crystal, you're up.
Town Hall will be closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. They both fall on Mondays this year. Tax bills will be printed and mailed at the end of the month, and the clerk's office will be open Monday through Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. to receive in-person payments, with the exception of Monday, January 1st, and Monday, January 15th, which is Martin Luther King Day. Payments can also be made by mail or deposited into our locked mailbox right outside Town Hall. That's it.
Any questions for Crystal? Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, public hearings. Proposed local law 4 of 2023 adopting a moratorium on solar farm use. Public hearing is opened up at 7:25.
Hi, I'm Joe Glennon, and we reside at 2717 Madison Corners Road for the past 30-some odd years now. And over this time, we've seen our area go from a fairly rural area to a more residential area. I'm concerned about the health effects of the solar field on a residential area where the population has now increased. While a quick literature search shows that the World Health Organization does not show any studies that elucidate any significant effects of electromagnetic fields, their recommendation is still that residences or solar farms be set up within about 1.2 to 2 miles from a residence. So if we are to establish a moratorium on the solar field, I think during this time, we should also investigate the health effects of these electromagnetic fields on the public that resides in the area. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others?
Wes Blessing, former employee of the town of Princetown and current fire chief of the Pine Grove Fire Department. When we talk about solar, whether these people know it or not that are in support of it, this town, nor does the county have the resources to put out such fires should they happen. I'll give you a little background. All the solar farms that are there, they're all made, a lot of the covers are all PVC, contain PFOAs. When it rains and the ultraviolet light gets on these solar panels and they start to flake off and turn white, where does the PFOA go? Into the groundwater. Whether the town board realizes or not, they've got solar panels right over their aquifer on their own property. So we'll get off of that subject. Now we'll go to fire suppression. The town, nor does the county have resources enough to put out such a fire. I've been in a couple training sessions, a couple informational meetings about battery facilities. If there is such a fire at a battery facility, the runoff has to be contained, and no one knows what the cleanup is going to be. The reason Rotterdam put a moratorium on for their battery for storage facility on Burger Street was, where's that water go if there's ever a fire in that facility, in the aquifer? Same thing here. Anybody around a battery storage facility that catches fire, it's going to be in their groundwater. Second thing, okay, the new battery storage facilities, they don't contain lithium ion, or they aren't lithium ion batteries, they aren't a lead acid battery, they're a bromine battery. It's a type of salt water, although if you look it up and find out exactly what is in these batteries, it tells you that if it gets on your turnout, your PPE as a fireman, it needs to be discarded. It can't even be washed off. It also says that this solution is is highly corrosive and could be deadly to you if not flushed off immediately. And that's gonna be in these storage facilities. We don't have the resources. There's not any fire suppression systems at this time for them. So if they are in your area, you probably don't live in your house again for a while until they're cleaned up. But the town nor the county has the resources to handle these facilities. Whether you know it or not, the 5 boroughs in New York City won't even allow these facilities in their area. So what does that tell you? Think about it. Thank you.
Any others?
I'm Terry Phillips from Montgomery County, actually, town of Florida. I live on Pattersonville Road. I just want to, if you do the moratorium and redo the solar law, there's a lot of things that I've learned over the last few years, being a neighbor to the one that went in onto 160. Going along with Wes, I was at a firehouse meeting the other night, and the one that is going in up the road from us, the rule of thumb for that is to let it burn. There is no fire suppression for these solar. So on the backside of these solar, because the roads don't go all the way, they're not allowed in it when it's burning. So on the backside of that, they can't get to the fire. They can't protect the backside of the fields where they are. So there's no roads around them. There's no way to get to the back of the property lines to protect the other side of the fire, of the solar arrays. The other thing is, ag districts are huge and are looked at through ag and markets now. The state is no longer allowing soils 1 through 4 to go into solar. So that's another thing that should be in your law. I'd actually think about putting it up to 5 personally, because that's most of the land in this area. Riverbed and a little bit up is 1 through 4. The last thing is have a bond for cleanup, because nobody can afford to get rid of these things in 20, 30 years when they run out.
Any others?
Hello, my name's Nancy Byro, and I have a farm on Rhinex Corners Road, 3740 Rhinex Corners Road. I moved to the farm in 2002. I operate the farm as a 501c3 not-for-profit equine welfare organization, also a therapeutic center, where we serve the capital region, children, families, veterans, people with cancer diagnosis, and also people that come from around the country to utilize our services mostly for cancer survivor retreats and family programs. And one of the reasons why people come to my farm in Pattersonville is I used to wonder why would anybody come to my little town, and it's because it's a beautiful place. When people drive up Rhinex Corners Road, they feel a sense of peace and calming, and a lot of the people have suffered a lot of trauma. And what I'm concerned about, other than, sure it's going to affect my business because people aren't going to want to maybe come to my place while construction's going on for a year or two across the street for solar. But I'm concerned about the property values for all of us that live on Rhinex Corners Road and in the vicinity of where the solar complexes are going to be built. I believe that the one that is probably people are most concerned about is right on Rhinex Corners Road, and it is directly across from my property. So I'm just asking for the 6-month moratorium, and to try and guard us as people that live in this community, and our property values and the safety for our kids, for ourselves, for our pets, and not to disrupt the environment or wildlife in the area. Thank you.
Any others?
Hi, my name is Kyle Quinn, 807 Sanborn Road, town of Rotterdam. Just to kind of back up what everybody said so far, a very important thing is groundwater. I mean, everybody's wells are very important. If you don't have water, you don't have anything. You know, you might as well, you can't live in a place without good water. It hits home to me because I have a proposed substation, like I'd say about 100 feet from my well, and as far as I know now, regulations don't really push any of this stuff much further than that from a well, which is crazy to me because, you know, as everybody said, there is a lot of runoff coming off of these all substations. I mean, I'm not an electrical engineer, but I know that all the transformers and a lot of the storage within the substation are oil filled, and they're very toxic. And I would just, I support a moratorium if you guys, if you pass it, and I would just consider this in future code. And again, I think it's a very important thing, and I do support it. Thank you.
No others?
You bet.
Sure, most of you on the board know who I am. My name's Tom Nelson. I'm a direct neighbor to the solar farm, or actually what I should say, solar power generating facility that's installed next to our property. Although I live in the town of the town of Florida, I grew up in the town of Princetown. My father has served many years on the town board and as town supervisor. Princetown is very dear to me. We still own land within Princetown. However, I live in town of Florida. My experiences with the solar farm that went in next to our property, it was very apparent that although the town has solar laws, they are very ambiguous and just about unenforceable. In the last 3 years, they've had equipment stored on the property, long delays. They had poorly marked out property boundaries of the solar facility. They ended up encroaching on our property. The shielding and the screening and protection for the land and the agricultural land around it, although it's called out in the regulations, from what I found out, is virtually unenforceable because it's written too vague. So I would say, even though I am no longer a resident of the town of Princetown, I would urge you to support the moratorium, go back, look at your laws, strengthen them, and hopefully avoid the problems for the next solar facility that's installed that you encountered with this one. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Vicki Proper. I live at 3717 Scotch Ridge Road. I'm a lifelong resident of Princetown. And I don't have a lot to add, but it's like the November meeting and this meeting, I've learned a lot. Disturbing things tonight, especially. So I put it on the record last month, but I officially want to put it on the record again, that I would like you to consider the moratorium for all the reasons that were mentioned in November and tonight. The one thing that I do think about is runoff. I mean, if a farm was to go across the street in the field by our house, I can't imagine how the runoff might affect the stream that goes by our house, which can get raging at certain times during the storm. So runoff started to make me wonder, you know, if there was a large farm. It's not a farm. I agree with what, yes, not a farm. That could be a concern, the runoff. But I just want it on the record that I really would like it if you guys would consider a lot that has been said. And I do appreciate, you know, what Jim said about the lawsuits and Lou saying about, you know, having the state or get involved and push through. I mean, I get all that. That's a lot to consider, all that you said as well. But maybe we can tighten things up a little bit. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Bob Boucher. I've been in the town since 1962. I live on Reynolds Corners Road. I'm directly to the east of the 150-acre solar field from Scotch Church Road. And I think West Blessing opened my eyes up tonight to let us know possibly if there's a fire, the westerly winds is going to carry it to the whole little community on Reynolds Corners Road. Furthermore, with the PFOAs in your runoff, possibly leakage from these solar cells, which when they're putting the solar field in the Rotterdam dump with the battery storage area, we never knew anything what was going on. That was up to the town of Rotterdam. But now seeing how West opened my eyes up to see and worry about the runoff in the Sansikill Creek, which runs directly into the Mohawk River, which I think everybody knows, and it could be a disaster. But like I said, we've been there since 1962 in this town, and there's been a lot of changes, and I believe from what the original statement was when the town accepted the one on a 150-acre field, or the farm across the ravine there, that the town is not going to make any money off of it. This is a major, major development. Oh my God, that's an industrial development over there. I don't know if you folks have been through it, but we've been watching it ever since day one, and it's been a disaster. One of the the woman got hit on Scotch Church Road and almost died as a worker there because of the no regulation on speed control coming down Scotch Church Road past the Brooks Farm, which is a solar field. So, but I think that everybody in this room ought to pass it on to their neighbors just to let them know what's really going on and the possibilities of a major disaster. Thank you very much.
Any others?
I'm Linda Gaddis, and I live on Scotchridge Road since 1992. And I don't have as much knowledge as a lot of the people that have been speaking and spoke at other meetings. I have read a lot of articles. I try to do a lot of research. And as like Vicki, I'd like to just go on the record that I would urge everyone to please do the moratorium because with all the evidence coming out now, not just here and the people who spoke over the past 3 meetings, but different things that are coming out in articles about the fires, about how hard they're to put out, about the runoff, about things they're learning from this over time. And people learn over time from experience. And it just defies logic and defies God-given reasoning not to have a 6-month moratorium to reconsider and adjust the law. That so many things have changed since the law was done, and it could be improved. We can always improve. And in order to protect our community and protect our people, protect our water, protect our first responders and the communities around these farms from fires, I mean, like I say, to me it defies logic not to do it, not to have a moratorium, not to review the law, and do what we have to do to get it better. Not that it wasn't done right when it was done, but now so much more is coming out. And I feel it needs to be considered. So I thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Robin Glennon. I'm a lifelong resident of this area. We have 2 places in Princetown right now. We live on Radix Corners Road, 2717, right next to the proposed, or the solar array that is supposed to be, or might be going in. There's a large stream, I don't know the name of the stream, that runs down through our property and down through where the proposed solar array would be. One thing we do get a lot here, is wind. And it scares me to death to think of the fires that could occur, and that there is no way to put these fires out. I mean, we all saw the horrible occurrence in Maui when that just took everybody by surprise, and there was nothing they can do. And I just think that we are Maui sitting ducks, sitting on this hill with all the wind. We saw the smoke that was coming from Canada, and there was not a darn thing we could do. And we're supposed to be a rural community. I mean, that's what Princetown prides itself on. When you go down through 160, you're not even down through 160, you are on Radix Corners Road, now that the leaves are on the tree, and you look over and you see the horrible mistake that is there, and Princetown allowed this. I just can't understand how this ever happened, and to even think that you may consider something else similar, even bigger than what's on 160 makes me sick to my stomach. And you have to think of the population and how harmful this would be, and considering the water source that everybody was talking about. Is this something that moratorium, but yeah, is great, but it really, to even consider this, I don't know what the benefits are. I mean, we're in the Northeast, and all I've been reading is that solar panels are not even a great source of green energy, especially in the Northeast. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, and people's health, their welfare is something that's huge, and everybody should look into that and really consider it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Justin Kennison, I live at Muscleback Road. We've been in the area for about a year now. We just built and moved my family from Rotterdam to this area for the more rural lifestyle. And in the last year, I've watched my street become a construction zone. I have speeding vehicles, I listen to the construction equipment all day on 160. And this isn't what we had planned on. I don't know much about the situation that some of these people do. I can say that I hold a degree in electrical. I am an industrial employee at Schenectady Chemical right up the road. So I deal with a little bit of this, hands-on every day. And, I stand in support for this moratorium, stopping this any way we can, and that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have a statement to read from my husband who couldn't be here tonight. He said, Princetown Town Board members, my name is Joshua Como. I live on Skyline Drive, and I've been a Princetown resident for nearly 30 years. I'm also a member of the Schenectady County Legislature, and I represent Princetown, Rotterdam, and Duanesburg. Our county meetings fall on the same Tuesday as your monthly town board meetings, so I've been unable to attend in person. However, I wanted to provide a statement of support for your proposed solar moratorium. I've been watching your meeting videos online and speaking with residents in town about the topic. There seems to be an overwhelming number of residents who would like to see this moratorium in place so that necessary changes can be made to the town's solar law. We would all like to see Princetown preserve its rural character as much as possible. I am certainly not ignorant to the fact that we reside in New York State, a state whose leaders continue to support and force green energy agendas on us. However, when these agendas put our residents and first responders in imminent danger, it is our primary responsibility as elected officials to ensure the protection and safety of our constituents. A moratorium would provide the town the time to take a step back and review, update, and strengthen its solar code. Continued solar projects in upstate New York are inevitable. However, with an updated solar code, we can ensure these projects preserve the rural character of Princetown and keep its residents and first responders safe, including regulations for battery storage, setback minimums, and funding for fire districts would do just that. Far too often, we've seen elected officials being reactive instead of proactive. In many municipalities across the state, we've seen complacency lead to disastrous results. Let's prevent Princetown from becoming one of those towns. You have an opportunity to take action now, and I strongly support you in taking it. Eric Hess, County Legislator, would also like to let it be known that he also supports a solar moratorium in Princetown. Thank you for your time and consideration. Joshua Como.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would also like to publicly say that I support the solar moratorium, and I have volunteered to help Ben on the committee to propose changes to the solar law if we are given the opportunity to do so. I think 6 months is a good compromise on time, and it's time that we could really use without the pressure of an impending project on us. I agree with what Nicole said at the last meeting. Despite the fact that not a single one of us up here supports solar, it's not our place to impose unreasonable restrictions on solar. The end goal is to protect the town, and we don't want to leave the town vulnerable to possible litigation because of unreasonable restrictions. That would not be protecting the town. But as it stands right now, I do not feel our current solar law protects the town. A lot has changed in the last 5 years since it was written, and we didn't yet have any solar farms. There's a lot more information available to us now than there was 5 years ago, and we can reflect upon our current projects. I do believe that everyone up here has the best interests of the town at heart, and I've listened to all sides of the discussion, and I think you all have valid points and concerns. But I do truly believe there's a way for us to make reasonable changes to this law that brings us to a place of compromise, where everybody's concerns are addressed. But you have to first allow us a reasonable amount of time in which to do that, and I hope we'll get the opportunity.
Okay. Any others? Okay, we'll close up the public hearing at 7:53. Okay.
Before we start, can I make a motion to apply the comments at the privilege of the floor into this hearing? our attorney recommended we do that,
Sure.
so,
I'll second that. Councilman Pavoldi?
yes.
Councilman Jack Russo? Yes. Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Okay, meeting minutes. Hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of November 14, 2023, regular town board meeting are approved or as amended. Discussion,
I'll make the motion.
is there a second?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Okay, local law 4 of 2023. I suppose everybody's read this, and I don't think we have to read it. Has everybody read this, or do you want us to go through this and read this whole thing?
It's the
Anybody want us-
moratorium law.
Everybody's got a copy out there? Okay. All right, section 12 of this, the effective date. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. Discussion?
You know where I stand, so obviously I support this wholeheartedly, and I hope you guys will as well. Our law is overdue to be updated and strengthened, as the residents put it.
Okay, thank you. Jim? Anything?
Waiting for a motion.
Well, I'll make the motion.
No? I'll
Let's see
second.
if, Chris, Doug, you got anything to say?
I'm good. Crystal basically said what I was thinking, so.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Okay, water operator is hereby resolved that Michael, how do you pronounce that?
Alarossi?
Alarossi be appointed as a licensed water operator at a rate of $28 per hour for a term to expire 12/31/23. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Approval of the natural resources inventory. See, before we go much farther, has everybody read this? You read it, Ben? You read it?
Aye.
Doug, you understand it all? Okay. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves the natural resources inventory as prepared by the Princetown Environmental Committee in November of 2021 and reviewed by the planning board in July of 2023. I talked with the planning board chair and Nicole, she serves at it. They have no objection to this. Said it's not going to infringe on anybody's property rights. I don't know how everybody on the board, if anyone's got any comments on it? Jim?
No, I do want to thank Dr. Pomeroy for all their work. I know it wasn't easy putting all this together, and he worked a long time on it.
Nicole? You serve on the planning board.
Yeah, the planning board, they had them come back and make multiple changes over and over again, and they said that, well, I read it too, and everything in there, nothing was infringing on anything, and nothing was subjective. So the first thing that they said is take out anything subjective, and that can be interpreted, somebody could think something the way it's not supposed to be, and it basically just points out facts at this point. So that's what I got from it.
Okay. Doug? Okay. Is there, let me read it then. It's hereby resolved the town board approves the natural resources inventory as prepared by the Princetown Environmental Committee in November of 2021 and reviewed by the planning board in July of 2023. We already had our discussion. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman
Chris.
Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Election expenses are hereby resolved that the town board directs the Schenectady County Finance Department to levy Princetown share of the 2021 county election expense on the 2024 county tax warrant. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Kristen?
Councilman Foldy?
Yes.
Councilman Jacobson?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. It is hereby resolved, that this is MDT account holders, it is hereby resolved that the town board approves Supervisor Lou Esposito and Water Commissioner Rick Rohr to be named. We abolished this today. That account is no longer, everything is gonna be going into the water fund. That account was, went up to the, after discussion there, we don't need that account anymore. The checks are gonna be directly deposited into the water fund. We don't need two deposits, we don't need two accounts. So that's done. Organizational meeting.
There is one more for MDT account holders too.
Pardon?
For the building inspectors, there's a second resolution. MBT account holders, yeah. We added that one in last minute today.
No, I don't have it.
No, there's this one, and then you can flip over to the back that says.
Removing Bob Myers from the town.
Yes. Is hereby resolved that the town board approves the removal of Bob Myers from the town Princetown Building Inspector's checking account 6693 and the supervisor Louis Esposito and Councilman Doug Gray be named as an additional account holders. That was done in error. We never removed Bob from the account. There's only one person on it now, and that was Tom Green. So we're gonna add these names to it in case something happens, so.
Now I'll make a motion.
Building inspector account.
Oh.
Bob was still on it, so he's putting him in. Sign the checks.
No, not that one. We weren't on it.
I
We
guess
never
not.
changed it.
I guess, yeah.
Discussion? Done? Jim?
No.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Councilman Foldy?
Yes.
Councilman Jacobson?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora? Yes. Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes.
Which one did we just do? Did we do the one for?
That was the second MBT. He canceled the first MBT account holders resolution. Said we no longer needed it. There was a second one.
Okay, so this one is gone, and then this
Another
one.
one's,
Yep.
Okay. I was confused.
Okay, organizational meeting. That
So he.
had a brief discussion on it.
We canceled.
January 1st at 9 a.m. Is that good for everyone? Has to be done the first of the year. Sometimes we've done it on the second. It should be done on the first. 9 a.m. good then?
Yeah.
Jim?
Yes.
Oh, I had it. You're gonna be gone. I put you next? Doug?
What would?
Organizational meeting, January 1st, 9 a.m.
Yeah, that's one we always did.
We did it on the second last year, but that's fine. Okay, on January 1st, 9 a.m.
You need a motion for that?
We are hereby resolved that the town board hold a 2024 organizational meeting on January 1st, 9 a.m. We already had the discussion, so is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Crystal?
Councilman Foldy?
Yes.
Councilman Jacobson?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Amendments to the 2024 final budget. It's hereby resolved the town board amends the final budget as follows. Special district sewer rates have been designated as follows. Dwaynesburg, 24, ED/US, OM, final budget amount. I guess there was an error in that.
Dwaynesburg's numbers were wrong.
Yeah, they were wrong, so we had to correct it. Any discussion? Done? Jim?
No.
Doug? Okay. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. General funds claims, hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 211-243 in the amount of $33,382.08. Discussion. Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Crystal?
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Water funds claim. Hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 140 through number 153 in the amount of $20,747.52. Discussion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Crystal?
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Trust and agency funds claims. Is hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 15 in the amount of $16,465.34. Discussion. Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second? Crystal?
Councilman Goldie?
Yes.
Councilman Jack Russo?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Council member comments and discussion. Jim, did you want to say something? You said,
No, I was talking about, just wanted to get that in the record for the hearing. Those comments.
yes, we were discussing, we were talking about our phone, and I wanted to say something that you're going to be out for.
Oh, yeah, yes. Due to the cancer that I'm dealing with, I'm probably gonna be missing, at least 2 or 3 meetings. I'm gonna have to go in for some treatment, so I apologize for that. I asked Lou if he wanted to appoint somebody temporarily. He doesn't wanna do that. So, my concerns remain with the town, and I'll be keeping track of things, but because my immunity will be destroyed, I cannot be in public places.
And had a discussion about this with Gerard. He can do a Zoom meeting, but he just can't be voting, but he can give his comments via Zoom. So, or virtual, however you want to say it. Crystal can hook that up with you, Jim. So
Yeah, I just
still-
want to use laptop.
But you have to be present to vote, so that we can set this up so you can at least contribute.
Yeah.
Be a part of the meeting. But you just won't be able to vote on anything, because you have to be present.
Right, I can't be in the public.
Okay, that will all be sent for.
Thank you.
Okay, Don, you got anything?
Cole, I wanted to thank you for your service to the town board. I've always appreciated your candor and perspective. I am sorry to see you go, so thank you. I know we have talked about a solar committee before. I think we agreed to keep it a little bit smaller, maybe 5 people, if you guys would agree to that. So I know Crystal wants to, I definitely want to. Jamie Nelson offered. He lives in the community. He's up on Sterling Road. Linda offered, but I know you're very busy. So what I would like to do is get a planning board member.
Well, here's what I was thinking, that we can get a list of people, and we'll take a discussion at our next meeting. Probably the organizational meeting, we can do this, put the committee together. Everybody's got somebody else that they would like to have on it, and see what develops from there. I'm not in favor of having a large group, just as you are.
Yeah.
The more people you have on it, the less things get done. So, I was thinking too, I talked with Doug Cole. He's gonna be on as an advisor. He said he would do that.
Yeah.
And Anthony Torrey said he would certainly, if we'd like him to be on it, he said he would certainly be willing to give up his time to serve on the committee. And if anybody else has anybody in mind, we'll discuss it at the organizational meeting and come up with it. I'm thinking since Gerard is not a solar attorney, we can also get some advice from the lady that creates the solar law in Duanesburg. She seems very well versed in it. I talked to her. Had a meeting over this solar project up on 160, and we addressed our concerns. And Jim and I were at the meeting. There was about 8 people present from the solar company, and we gave them all of our concerns about the project, and they're going to address them. So one of them was fire, that was discussed, and they're going to be in contact with Jamie about NOx box and whatever his concerns are. And amongst other things, they want this to go online by the end of the year. They haven't finished the project. It was discussed that they want to, the trees came in dead, that they were supposed to be planting around there. That's not our problem. That's what I told them. They said they would plan in the spring of the year. I said no, that if that's going to be the case, because I know what contractors do, we have no contract with them other than a building permit. They're going to have to put up money in case they don't come back to do this. They're not too happy about it, but they're going to have to put up the money to the town in case they do not show back up. Then we would have to be responsible for planning. Like I said, they're not happy about that, but
Well, we will add that to the solar law.
but other than that, like I said, they're not happy. It's not my concern that the trees came in dead. That's their problem. And we have no contract with them. So all we have is a building permit. And part of the site plan review was that there was vegetation around there. And because they didn't get it done during the summer, it's not our problem.
Well, they're gonna give us an escrow, it looks like, for the approximate cost of 65 trees, which is not gonna be cheap because they're big trees.
Yeah.
So it'll be substantial. Like Lou said, they weren't happy, but
They said they've never heard of that before. I guess they haven't dealt with Princetown before. We're not gonna let them just walk away and not finish what was supposed to be done by the planning board, the site plan review. So they're gonna get back to us. And they want to do that, then that's fine. They want to make them. Pardon? Make them do it.
yeah, they're gonna,
Well, they're gonna do it in the spring.
but we want an escrow account to guarantee. That's what we're
That's
asking.
yeah.
So I'd like to see 5 people if you guys agree with that. So I think a planning board member would be good. But I had talked to Anthony, he seems a little, I can help you out if you need me to, but, I don't know if somebody else on the planning board would be interested. And I think it would be good to get another resident.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the 5 of us if you guys agree to that.
Yeah. We'll discuss it at the organizational meeting, and we'll see who we want to put in. And the attorney will be present, need be, to advise.
Because there's a lot, a lot of municipalities have rewritten their laws, and there's a lot of information out there that there wasn't 5 years ago, so there are a lot of frameworks in which we can work with now that I don't think were available back then. So if you're interested, my email's online, my phone number's online. Obviously, we're gonna be a little restrictive on the size of the group, but let me know. Because we do want 5 total, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we want to go much.
Yeah.
I think there's rules about, don't they have to be a resident of Princetown to be on it?
Yeah, they gotta be
So
resident.
there are rules
Yeah.
regarding that.
Yeah, so, obviously, Crystal and I, or Jimmy Nelson is, planning board members will probably have to be as well, so. But thank you for supporting the moratorium, happy to see it. And the last thing was, I still haven't heard from Spectrum, so,
So we have our contract with Carousel, who is the company, not Spectrum, but they manage our internal phone system. That contract is up. We're due to pay them by the end of the year, so I don't know what
So
you guys want to do with that one.
they were supposed to send us new phones, and then our bill would have went down. And I got a call from one of the construction people at Spectrum that was like, I have to come out and see about adding fiber optics or whatever. And I was like, that is not what we signed up for. And he's like, I'll get back to you, and that was 2 months ago, so. Probably classic Spectrum at this point, so I don't know when we're getting the new phones, but I can follow up.
If we sign that contract, are we bound for a year?
Yeah, it's about $900 is the cost. I don't honestly know what they do for us, because there's been times that I've had issues and they defer to Spectrum, so I don't even know that us canceling them before we get this new system in place would do anything. I just want to make you aware of that.
The advantage of going with Spectrum in these new phones is they remotely do everything at no cost.
Right, but can we cancel our contract
Carousel.
with Carousel? Is that gonna be,
I don't know, Spectrum has really dragged their.
I don't wanna get in a position where our phones are in limbo.
Yeah.
Oh, and Iowa needs a new computer.
Yes, I gave the paperwork to Jim.
Iowa needs a new computer.
Right, she just gave me the paperwork tonight.
Anything else?
Do you need a resolution to approve purchasing that, or is that okay? For Isla?
I need a resolution for that.
Just $1,200. Well, they're our preferred vendor, we do everything through Vector.
Yeah. we need a resolution for that. It's probably town budget to keep those things running.
It's just an unforeseen expense. Our computer shop, we gotta get one.
But Vector's our vendor, and they do all our work, they buy all our computers, so.
Okay, got anything else? Nicole?
Just wanted to say thanks to all the residents for having me here the past 6 years or so. And I really enjoyed my time serving Princetown, and I enjoyed working with all of you. So, thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. Doug?
Well, thank you.
Got anything, Doug? Got anything, Doug? No. Okay. All right, we have to go in an executive session for discuss a personnel matter. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Councilman Foley?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Laura? Yes. Brian Esposito?
Yes.